It's a natural part of being human, I think, to want to make connections with other people. When we meet someone for the first time, we often ask them questions like where they're from, where they went to school. We might even ask them what church they go to, all in a search for common ground. I think that's why we usually talk about the weather, because we're all experiencing the same thing at the same time. So when I found myself sitting in the front room of Emily's home in Masaka, Uganda, I wondered what our common ground would be. We were taking cover from a sudden afternoon downpour, typical in this lush region of Uganda that straddles the equator. Emily's two-room house was built of clay bricks that had been formed and baked on site. It was topped with a red metal roof that amplified the sound of the driving rain. The kitchen was a small building, separate from the main house, with a new high-efficiency wood-burning stove. It was made of clay and low to the ground, and Emily was excited to show it to us. This new stove was part of PWRDF's support of St. Jude Family Projects, a local NGO that is teaching this community about conservation agriculture, hygiene, and empowering women. It was very different from my kitchen in Toronto. So far, not a lot in common. Before we took cover, Emily was proud to show us the piglets she was raising in her backyard, her banana grove, and her nursery for tree seedlings. In front of her house, there was a large covered cistern that was catching the rain and would help water her beautiful and prodigious garden. It did just rain here, but as you can see, Emily's backyard is very different than mine. St. Jude's founder, Josephine Kitsa, explained that Emily was born with a disability. So she was abused as a little girl and was not given an education. But thanks to training from St. Jude's, now she was a leader of a group called the Superwomen. As we waited out the downpour, after some awkward small talk, Emily and I made a startling discovery. We were both born in the same year, and our youngest daughters were the same age. And I was struck hard with the realization that there is always common ground, and it's always worth finding.